Good morning, YouTube. I'm making this video basically to um, just really alert uh, the men and women of God out there, and also even if you're not a believer, but you just really are having relationship issues and stuff like that and everything, and you're trying to get to the next level in life, and you're just trying to really prosper in any and everything that you do in life. And whether you're a believer or a non-believer, um, relationships are hard for a lot of people. No one's perfect. We all have our issues. We all have our flaws. Um, we all have our quirks and different things that that tick us off or set us off the wrong way. I'm not using this channel to gain fame or fortune or likes or not trying to start drama with anybody or anything like that. Um, I listen to a lot of relationship, do it the right way type gurus on YouTube, and the one thing I've learned, number one, is that you gotta love yourself and you gotta love God. You have to love something bigger than you, than yourself. Because at the end of the day, we all need something to believe in, and we all need to find something that we can put above ourselves when we wake up in the morning to really have a purpose and a reason for keeping a household, raising our kids, going to work, dealing with church folk. And you know how that is, dealing with church folk. Some church folks, let me put it that way. Um, I have definitely met and dealt with a lot of different women through the past 15 years of my life. And I had to learn the hard way on many different levels of um, not to date certain women. And women can learn something from what I'm saying right now also. Um, there are certain people out here that they say they want a relationship, but they really don't. And a friend of mine told me to make this video months ago. Another friend of mine told me to make this video years ago. And I really had stalled on it because I don't like attention. I don't like social media, honestly. I don't want anybody walking up to me while I'm in Toys R Us with my son or my kids or anything like that. I don't want somebody randomly walking up on me talking about, well, you made that video on YouTube and you said, and it's like, no, this ain't the time, this ain't the season or the reason. Step back. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting too grown for all of that social media game banking. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm too old for that. I come from the old school where if you want to solve a problem, let's sit down and talk about it face to face. Don't call me, don't text me, don't email me, don't tweet me, don't Facebook me. I don't want my face in your book, and I don't need to see what you tweeting, because what you tweet on Twitter is not who you really are in real life. A lot of people are putting stuff on social media so they can gain attention and gain the limelight. And that's happening in church, it's happening on social media, and it's happening in the workplace too. You got people that are doing and saying dumb things and ignorant things because they want attention. But back to what I was going to say about relationships. I have met a young lady in the past. The young lady was turning down a bunch of men left and right. She was a churchgoer. And I thought, oh, okay, she's teaching Bible study. She was an armor bearer at one point at the church. I'm not going to say any names of the church or the pastor or the people of the church. I'm not going to do that because that's not what this is about. This is pertaining truthfully to almost like a Jezebel spirit, and I believe that's what is going on in the church right now. The young lady, she was saying no to every man that approached her. And honestly, and I'm just going to keep it real, she was saying no to men all the time to the point where it made it look like she was also living a lesbian lifestyle on the low. And truthfully, we know that homosexuality in church is something that's been going on real rampant the past 10, 20 years, real heavy. And over the past 5, 10 years, I've seen the homosexual lifestyle in church. It seems like it's increasing. There are people in power positions in church that are homosexuals. There are pastors in church that are homosexuals. You know what I'm saying? We've seen them as far as the choir director or the tambourine player, you know, as they say jokingly. But now it's starting to be in powerful positions where they're deacons, they're evangelists, they're prophetess, they're prophets, they're pastors. And in the word it says, in the last days, even the most elect will be deceived. Now, I'm not quoting, I don't have the Bible in front of my face, so I'm probably not saying it word for word, but I know what I'm saying. And I've read the word enough times to know that bottom line, no matter what title you have or how spiritual you may be, there will be some people in church that will deceive you and will trick you. And we have a lot of wolves in sheep clothing in church now. A lot. Women and men. You know what I'm saying? Women and men, not just the men. For a long time in church, because I grew up in church. I grew up in kind of a Southern Baptist type traditional church. And for a long time, they try to make it seem like the men, the new men that would come into the church were the evil, bad men because they didn't know who they were. But the reality is it was some evil, mean, religious women up in the church that they felt like they knew it all. They wanted to take the pastor's position in the church. They wanted to knock the first lady out of her position at the church because they had greed and unforgiveness going on up inside of them and bitterness, and they wanted to knock people out of their position to make themselves feel good. I dealt with a grandmother that basically she had to have control over everything. And it got to the point where she lied about so many different things just to have control over you or manipulate you. She would lie just to make you look bad or make you feel bad, or so she could have some type of control over you. And there's a lot of women in church right now that they're screaming Jesus, 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 but when they get behind closed doors, they're screaming something else. And I'm telling you right now, that Jezebel spirit is strong, folks. We need to be fasting and praying. We need to be fasting and praying. I'm going to say it one more time. We need to be fasting and praying because that Jezebel spirit is really strong right now in the church across America, in the churches, in the body of Christ. And back to what I was going to say about the young lady, you know, I met her and we started dating. And I'm going to tell every man this, believer or non-believer, don't have sex with no woman until you are married to her. And I'll repeat that one more time. I don't care how good your credit is, how many cars you got, how many homes you got, how much money you got in the bank. The law of sowing and reaping is real, folks. I don't care what parts of the Bible you want to try to pick and choose. The law of sowing and reaping is real. Do not have sex with no woman. Do you not see all these men out here right now that are being accused of sexually abusing these women? Do you not see all the men out here right now, back to back, that are being accused of sexually abusing these women? Do you think 100% of all these women are correct? No. 60 to 80% of them probably are true. 30-40% of them are lying because they're upset because they didn't get the husband or the marriage or the family or the house or career that they wanted. So they're going to say, oh, let me turn back around and hit up old Larry because he promised me a certain career, a level career, and I didn't get that. or I didn't get the husband or family I thought I was supposed to get. So let me go on back and hit old Larry up because, we did have sex and he promised me a Lexus. He promised me a nice house in the suburbs. He promised me, a great career being a CFO or executive assistant or executive administrator or whatever you want to call it. He promised me something that I didn't get. So I'm going to go back and make his life hell because my life is hell right now. My life is not where I want it to be at. I'm not taking responsibility for the things I've done and I've said. I've had friends and family that the women wanted to have sex with them, and because that man did not want to commit to her, she turns around and says, oh, he did something to me. Oh, he stole my money. Oh, he took my car. Oh, he messed up my career. And he didn't do any of those things. But the reality is he didn't want to make a commitment to that woman. So therefore, she feels the need to seek revenge against that man. I've had many older women tell me this when I was younger. When you mess with a woman, whether she claimed to be holy or she ain't nowhere near holy, or she holy in some other area of her life, but she ain't holy in the right area. Hello. Women can be very vindictive and very deceitful. Very vindictive. I met some nice women that they are real nice, but you get on a bad side, it is a wrap. You can pray all day. I mean, look at what happened with Jezebel and the prophet. You know what I'm saying? She said that she was going to tear him limb from limb and she was going to destroy him. And he went running, crying, saying, God, please take my life, because this woman said she going to come get me. And nothing never even happened to the prophet. But because of the fear of that woman, he ran for his life. And truthfully, as men, we can learn something from him. Truthfully, what we got to learn from him as a prophet, what he did is that, number one, don't run, stand strong, and believe in God and his word and his will for your life. That's number one. Back to what I was going to say. I got with this young lady. The pastor and the first lady made it seem like that she was good to go. She was a good woman. She had no issues, no problems, or nothing like that. We started dating. I started really communicating with her and talking with her on a regular basis. And all was going well. We were going out, watching movies, chilling, kicking it, relaxing. We weren't having sex, nothing like that. We were just really just talking and genuinely connecting. Well, red flags came up. One of the red flags that I ignored, and honestly, some of you are going to be like, well, duh, you should have known that. But the reality is, when you really are connecting with somebody and you're really enjoying their company, you're not thinking of, you can easily overlook the red flags that person is displaying to you, because bottom line, you're so fixated on, I want a wife, I want a mate, I want a spouse, I want somebody I can come home to, I want somebody I can communicate with. I overlook their flaws, I overlook the red flags, I don't care, just give me a mate. Well, basically, I overlooked the red flags. One night I needed my inhaler because I have asthma. And while we were dating, we had been dating for, I think, maybe 5 or 6 months, something like that. And I said, hey, I really need an inhaler. Can you go get me an inhaler? My asthma's acting up or whatever. And she said, sure, okay, I'll go get it for you. Time went on. She never got the inhaler for me. I praise God that I had somebody else bring me over an inhaler, but she never brought the inhaler to me. I contacted her that night. She didn't answer the phone. I contacted her the next day. She tells me, this is the woman that teaches Bible study at church. Oh, I didn't feel like bringing you the inhaler. I was just tired. And that was a red flag right there. Somebody that doesn't care about your health or your well-being, you need to leave them alone ASAP. If they can leave you hanging and leave you stranded while you dating, that means they're going to leave you hanging and leave you stranded while you're married. I don't care how pretty they are.